Mr. Heavyweight Boxing today?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Chris, the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mission Boxing today.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man, so I want to give my quick opinion about this heavyweight fight. Interesting fight coming up August 19th. This fight will be on ESPN. It's taking place in Canada, man. Vianello taking on Kean. Vianello, for some of you that don't know, he's fought on ESPN. You've seen him fight Kingsley, eBay, and then his most recent fight was his stoppage loss to Jonathan Rice. Jonathan Rice been on the road, man. He beat Vianello, and then he also has the 2 wins over Michael Polite Coffee. All right, so he's been on the road. Want to see Rice back in the ring, but this is an interesting fight, man. So Vianello, we know he suffered twice now. He suffered 2 nasty cuts over his eyes, once in the Rice fight and then in the eBay fight. And so I'm curious to see, how that eye holds up once it gets hit with a clean shot, because Kean, his best punch is a right hand, and Kean is a guy, 23 wins, 22 of those wins by knockout. He does have the 1 loss, which he lost by stoppage to Dylan Carmen. I believe the fights with Dylan Carmen were Canada Fights of the Year. If you guys haven't seen those fights, man, Simon Kean versus Dylan Carmen, go watch both of those fights. That first fight that Kean lost to Carmen, he actually had Carmen down, badly hurt in that fight. Then he ended up getting knocked out, Kean, in the 4th round. Then in the rematch, I think Kean had a fight in between, then he fought Carmen in the rematch, and they were slugging it out in that fight. And Kean was able to get the stoppage in the 3rd round. So out of those 2 fights, man, 7 entertaining rounds of boxing. But Kean's last fight was against the old journeyman, well, now he is Eric Molina, and that was that's Kean's probably best win, was against Eric Molina. But to Vianello though, man, I'm curious to see how this eye holds up, because it's been busted up pretty bad, man. Especially the Rice fight. Well, both fights, the eBay fight with the Rice fight, it was really leaking, man. But looking at, Vianello's style, and one more thing I'll say. Now, after that eBay fight, when he was cut real bad and he got the draw, and that kind of messed up his record, because he, was he started off hot on a top rank. I think he was like 7-0 with 7 stoppages going into that fight, and then he ended up getting a majority draw. And a lot of people think that eBay won that fight. But after that fight with eBay, they put him in there with like 3 lower level type of journeyman guys, right? And then he fought Rice, and then that's when he lost. Now, after this Rice loss, he's going right in there, not against a journeyman, not against any of that. He's going in there against a guy like Simon Kean. You know what I mean? So, and Kean, usually when you see guys that are 23 wins, 22 knockouts, 1 loss, a name that you really don't know of, you've seen that he's been beaten before, knocked out by what people would consider like a journeyman level type of guy in Dylan Carmen. Unlike some of guys with those records, he actually has a good amateur pedigree. He was a 2012 Olympian for Canada for super heavyweight. So Kean, when I watched him in the Molina fight, he was very poised and patient in that fight. Now, he's a roughhouse type of dude. He'll put you in a headlock. I remember even in the 6th round against Molina, he like threw him down. He isn't really like a swarmer type of guy. He'll try to throw a jab, but he really wants to land big right hands and left hooks. But that's where the amateur pedigree comes in, where with Molina, he was trying to get him out of there. You can tell early he was trying to force the issue, but then Kean, he settled down. Now, he does keep his head on the straight line. Vianello seems like the more fluid of the guys, right? Sometimes I forget that Vianello is 6'6", 240 pounds, because he kind of, jumping on his, on both feet a little bit, hopping in and out. He definitely has the quicker hands of the 2, kind of almost fights like he's a cruiserweight up in there, man. Whereas Kean, he looks like, and he fights like a 6'6", 250-pound guy. He's coming forward, he wants to land, but then he'll be patient and try to pick his spots. The way he was able to get Molina out of there, he actually landed a good jab right hand, buzzed Molina, and then followed up with another jab right hand, put Molina down. He couldn't really beat the count when he beat the count, but when he got up, he was woozy and all over the place, hanging onto the rope, or leaning, sideways on leaning on the ropes, and they end up calling a fight. But like I said, Vianello, I got to give it to him though, man. He's after the Rice fight, he's jumping right in here with this type of fight and the fights in Canada. You know what I'm saying? So the first couple of rounds, man, I can see Vianello winning those rounds just with his hand speed. I mean, he's quick, man. Quick, nice hand speed. And then like kind of after like that third, fourth, fifth round, man, and once the fight slows down a little bit and Kean's able to, land some right hands, and make it into a fight. The way Dylan Carmen was able to beat Kean is he just went in there and fought him. I'm not saying you got to go in there and throw defense out the window, but he just went in there and fought him, made him get into exchanges, and Carmen was landing first. I think that Vianello, if he can get him into exchanges, he has the faster hand speed, but I think Kean is the harder puncher, and I think his chin will be able to take what Vianello can dish out. Now that's just on paper, right? Anything can happen with these two heavy-handed dudes, man. But I see the fight Vianello winning probably the first couple of rounds, and I see Kean getting a stoppage probably down the stretch. I think that Vianello's going to be forced to fight, and I think probably later on in that fight, where Kean, he likes to get into those type of shootouts. He got dropped and knocked out, but then he also beat that guy, and he was, like I said, he was beating Carmen earlier in the fight before he got knocked out in that first fight. All right, but he'll put you in a headlock. He'll lean on you. He'll hit you behind the head. He's a rugged dude, man. You should go watch that Molina fight. He was fighting him, really rugged, man. So I'm gonna go with Kean in this fight, though, man. But like I said, Vianello does have the hand speed, and like I said, he got fast hands. He can move on his feet well, but he's susceptible. Him and Kean both share the same problems that I see a lot of these, big, tall heavyweights of the day is they go back in a straight line and they're right in line for a big right hand, or if the guy is southpaw, a big straight left hand, or, a straight right hand. They're just right in line for him. And Kean, the punch that he got caught with when he did lose was a right hand. Standing straight up, got hit. Vianello, when he's getting these cuts and he's got these two gashes, what does he get hit with? Right hands, pulling straight back. All right, so I'm gonna go with Kean in this fight. I think I'm gonna go with Kean by, I'm gonna say late stoppage. I'm gonna go with Kean and late stoppage, but I can see Vianello winning the first couple of rounds of the fight, man. But that's pretty much all I gotta say about this fight. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm gone.